So I wanted to make a quick video on how to prepare yourself and your car for a track day. I'm going to be going over inspecting your vehicle, what to inspect, and what tools to bring as well to the track. So this is going to be kind of one of those things where you've already purchased your track ticket, you know where you're going, and you just want to know exactly what you need to do to your car and what you need to bring to the track. So the first thing is going to be inspecting your vehicle. When you're looking over your vehicle, you want to check all your fluids. So when you're checking your fluids, you want to check your oil. You want to check the condition, the level. If you haven't done it within the past 15 to maybe 3,000 miles, I would highly recommend doing your oil before going to a track day. Another fluid I highly recommend before going to a track day is your brake fluid. What happens at the track is you're going to be braking very hard. You're going to be boiling your fluid, and what's going to happen is you're going to get a soft pedal, and sometimes you could even lose the pedal completely. So I highly recommend using a high temp brake fluid when going to the track. Another thing you want to check is your coolant and your coolant level. Make sure you have enough fluid in your cooling system. Most of the time they do not allow antifreeze at the track, so just top it off with water. Make sure you bring a water bottle, etc., to put water into your system, and make sure that's always topped off. So any other fluids you may have, such as I have a catch can, what you want to do is you want to check the level, see how much oil is in there. Usually when you're doing your oil change, you just empty this out as well. I've already done this. So also another thing you kind of want to look over is general maintenance stuff when you're inspecting your vehicle. Inspect like the drive belt, make sure there's no cracks or anything like that. You can check your air filter, make sure it's not dirty. If it is dirty, just kind of, you can either blow it out if it's not that dirty, or sometimes you can replace them. If you have an aftermarket filter or a K&N filter, perhaps, you can actually clean those out. Another thing you want to do before going to the track day is you want to inspect your battery. When you inspect your battery, you have to have the positive terminal cover, and you want to make sure the battery itself is tight, secured, and you got to make sure there is no wiggling on your terminals at all. And then you kind of just want to look over the rest of your engine bay, make sure you don't have any leaks, anything like that. If you have an intake just as like mine, you want to make sure it's not rubbing on the belt. Just kind of check everything over. Make sure, you know, coolant isn't leaking out of your reservoir cap or anything like that. And you just want to have some of your general maintenance stuff done. I know what I'm doing today is I'm doing my engine oil, my transmission, and my diff fluid, just because I went a whole track season without doing my transmission and my diff. I highly recommend doing that way before a whole track season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the car up, and we're going to look underneath the vehicle. So I got the car lifted up in the air. What we're going to do for our undercar inspection is we're going to look over quite a few things. First off, you want to look at your suspension components. Stuff like your lower control arm bushings, or just any bushings at all around the vehicle, ball joints, your suspension, sway bar end links, your tie rod ends, all those things. Sometimes you just got to make sure that suspension bits are tight. You're going to hear rattles if they are not. You want to check for leaks as well. So you want to make sure your drain bolt is tight, nothing's coming out of there. Oil pan, make sure there aren't any coolant leaks. Look underneath your radiator, etc. Look at your hoses, make sure they feel okay, make sure they're not deteriorating. Another thing you want to do is you want to check your wheel bearings. Go up and down, so hold the bottom point and the top point of your wheel. Just give it a good shake. Make sure you don't have any play in your wheel bearings. Check for tire wear. Make sure you don't have any abnormal wear. Make sure you have enough tires for the track. Another thing you want to do is you want to take off your wheels. You want to check your brake pads, your brake pad thickness, visually inspect your rotors, make sure you don't have any cracks. Keep looking underneath your vehicle, look at the exhaust, make sure you don't have any exhaust leaks. Usually you'll see like some black soot around the exhaust indicating a leak. Check stuff like your diff, and as I was saying before, make sure everything's maintained. Make sure your diff is maintained, make sure your transmission is maintained, make sure you don't have any bad axles if your axles are leaking. Once again, check to make sure that all your suspension bits are tight. Make sure everything's okay with your suspension, your sway bars, everything like that. And the last thing you want to do, just like you're inspecting your tires, check for alignment wear. If you have any crazy alignment wear, I'm not just talking camber about the toe or anything like that. Go get yourself a good track-oriented alignment. It's going to be one of the best things you can do before your track day. You just finished your inspection. Now you want to know what tools you need to bring to the track. First of all, you do need to bring a helmet and a tow hook. They will not allow you to go out on the track without a helmet or a tow hook put into your car. For helmets, I know I don't have mine pictured, but it depends on the track you're going to, but most tracks need at least a SA rated 2010 or newer helmet. So second, you need to get some oil and some extra brake fluid to bring to the track. You will burn some oil. That's just kind of how it is. I would constantly be checking the oil throughout the day. Also be checking your brake fluid as well. Some people do like to bleed out their brake fluid during the middle of the track day just so they could get a good pedal feel. Another thing is bring water. This is just a canteen, but bring water. Either to fill up your coolant or to stay hydrated throughout the day. Next I want to go over is just a couple of normal tools. Ratchet, socket rail, just for anything you have to fix on the car. Bring a torque wrench. Make sure that your wheels are torqued throughout the day. Look up your manufacturer torque spec for your wheels. I like to do 8.6 for the FRS. Torque your wheels throughout the day. You know, your lug studs are going to get hot and cool as they go throughout the day, and heat gets into the brakes. But you want to make sure that those lug nuts are not backing out. Another thing I want to say about lug nuts, if you have a wheel lock, bring it. Do not be that guy who forgets his wheel lock at the track. With that being said, bring an impact or whatever you want to use to get your wheels on and off. Wrenches. Usually you can be pretty smart with assorted wrenches. I mean, if you know your car, you know exactly what wrenches you're going to do, or exactly what sizes your car needs. Most Japanese cars are 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, and 19, until you see some Nissans with 17s and 18s, 21s, etc. Bring some screwdrivers, flatheads and Phillips. I like to also bring a pair of cutting dikes, some pliers, both normal pliers and needle nose. Another thing is bring a good flashlight. It's great to have a good flashlight just in case if you need to look underneath the car, etc. I also like to bring this little mirror. It helps to the point where I could shine the flashlight and actually check the back side of my pads throughout the day with the flashlight in the mirror. Some Allen wrenches. Bring tape and zip ties. If you do not have a car number, like your own magnetic car number, they will need you to use painter's tape to make a number on your car. Every car's got to have a number, and I think most tracks won't let you out without a number on your car. So zip ties, painter's tape, duct tape if you need to fix something. Duct tape's great. Zip ties. Next, I want to go over, if you have coilovers and they came with a specific tool, bring your coilover tools. Bring an air check to check the air throughout the day. Actually, I think I have another one, a cheaper one, just in case if you don't have one of these kinds of air checks. just something to read your tire pressures throughout the day. You want to read them before you go out, after you come back in, etc. Another good thing to bring is a code reader and something that can scan the code and delete it if need be. It is the track. Something may happen, or if you have an FRS and you spin, most of the time they do get a check engine light. So this is great to have. And I know some FRS owners who have an open flash tablet, those will check and clear codes, but not all of them will clear. I've had a couple of times where I've been out on the track, I spun, it came up with check engine light, and the open flash tablet did not catch it. So this might be a little more advanced for some of the guys who are going out, but I have a tire pyrometer. It's a digital tire pyrometer. Once I come back in, I check the tire temps, and that helps with checking alignment afterwards, seeing if I'm getting more heat, either inside, outside, or in the middle. And I can tell you if you're overinflated, underinflated, etc. It's not absolutely needed. Most of the time you just need a good, or not even a good, but something to check your tire pressures. Last but not least, make a list. That way, when you go there and you have all your tools, you have all these things, make sure that you leave with all those things as well. A couple other things that I see on my list right there is you want to bring a jack stands, and some wheel chocks. And last but not least, a chair, and like I said, water. Most of the time, it's about an hour in between sessions. So make sure, bring a chair, bring a nice foldable chair, and you can be comfortable throughout the day. That's all I can think of for right now. Let me know what you guys bring to the track. A couple more things I wanted to mention before I end the video is bring some gloves, disposable or renewable. They come in handy when you need to work on your car, and so you don't get your hands dirty. Or, I mean, you can get your hands dirty. It's just a personal preference. Bring some extra brake pads. I'm not going to say you're going to go through your entire set of brake pads in one day, but just in case they're low or if you need another set, bring them. Either your stock ones or a street pair if you have a street pair and you're currently running your track pads. Last but not least, clean out your car of all the trash and mess and air fresheners and whatnot. You don't want them flying around when you're at the track, and I think some people will, or some tracks will flag you if you do have stuff coming out of your car. So I think those are the last tips that I have. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and stay safe out there.